What's up guys? Welcome back to our YouTube channel. So we just finished filming part 2 and we hope you like it.
Let us know. Like, comment and
subscribe.
My ocean, she ride into my ocean. Quite frankly, oh my ocean, my ocean.
what can you tell me about the things you've went through, all your relationships, that you can say you brought on to other relationships up until now? Like, what did you carry over into your relationship? What made them reach a point to where it became a problem, or how did you get rid of it? And we can even talk about the good that you carried over up until this relationship.
So the bad, I think the trust issues, the fact that even though I was open to love, at first I was very hesitant to give my all. So that's one of the bad things. I think you would be able to tell me what I brought.
I do tell you.
I know, but we as individuals, we don't pick up our flaws immediately until somebody else points it out. And even when they do point it out, we always get defensive and be like, oh, that's not what we're doing. But somebody else would be able to see it, and once you listen to them and try to understand where they're coming from, then you realize, oh, it's because of this.
With me, honestly, I must say you are the luckiest girl ever. And I'll explain why, and I mean that. I actually do mean that.
Like you some modest pie.
So when I the first girl that I explained to you guys about, the one that I felt cheated on me, when I eventually moved on, there was a couple of girls after her. So the next girl that I got into a relationship with, like an actual relationship, that incident developed so much insecurities in me to a point where my entire relationship started becoming toxic. I became toxic, but also that my then partner didn't make it easy on me also. And I'll explain why. Because my then partner wasn't that experienced, if there is such a thing, with the concept of a relationship or decency. I think decency was one of the main things that stood out for me. You know, a lot of guys, you know, you get a lot of attention and all that, but that person never had the decency to respect our relationship, man. You know what I mean? Like,
so what would she do?
She would just leave a door open for guys to do or say certain things, man. You know what I mean? And for a guy, like, in the history of mankind, no man has ever said, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna stay away from that girl because she has a boyfriend or a husband." Like, that does not work. You know what I mean? You as the partner needs to be firm to these people who are reaching out to say, "Hey, bruh, don't disrespect my relationship, don't disrespect me." That will automatically give the guy the message. I mean, as a guy, if a girl tells me that, like, my pride is hurt, like, that's rejection. Let's be like, ah, shit. It's embarrassing, and then, like, I won't even speak to her anymore, whether it's a friend or not. Like, and then that partner always made me believe that they're just friends. So it was sort of like okay-ish for the guy to say certain things or do certain things, and you know, and that just built so much insecurities in me to a point where I couldn't speak calmly anymore. I would give advice to say, "Listen, babe, I don't like that." The second time the same thing happens, it's like, "Listen, I don't like that." And then if this carries on for another 2 years, you're not going to be speaking the same way you spoke the first time you mentioned it, you know? So it just came to a point where my voice raised through the roof, and even if there was a genuine friend, like, I would still just treat it as if it's somebody trying their luck or whatever. So it got very toxic. I got toxic. Yeah, the relationship ended eventually.
Question.
Hey?
The question, answer the question.
A question? Or a question?
What you brought over?
Oh.
So you brought over insecurities.
No. Wait, yeah, from the first relationship. I brought over insecurities, and it was like a cancer or tumor, like it just grew bigger and bigger because I wasn't handling it properly, and like I said, the person wasn't making it easy for me because of her behavior. Yeah, and that was a major lesson. But luckily for you, that's where you come in, the luck. I transformed that. I used that as what not to do. I used that as an experience, so that when I brought it over to this relationship, like I was so transformed.
Okay, but I was talking about the past relationships. I brought those bad things to those relationships.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking now I actually didn't bring any good because I was the same person. I handled things the same way in those relationships.
They probably can't say that about you.
I don't know, it wasn't liquor. I don't have good memories with past relationships. I don't.
So what can you say about this relationship?
Okay, so
Does this need an entire chapter on its own?
yeah, because
Okay.
because all the relationships that I mentioned before wasn't where I learned my lessons. Those were just stepping stones. Where I did learn my lessons was from my previous big relationship.
Okay.
Um,
So this is where it gets intense.
yeah.
No.
I even feel like
No, it's not something you should.
so when I was 18, started my first year of university, was fresh out of high school. So now I remember I was now a late bloomer in high school, no? I didn't know people smoke weed, people kiss without being in a relationship. So I only learned those things.
The same one. She didn't know. No, that was me. Shit. No, I wanted to say. I was going to expose her by saying she didn't even know that you need to kiss with your tongue. But that was actually me.
But that's why I was so scared to kiss, because I was like, how would you even do that? Ew. So I was always that girl. I was really backwards. I wasn't like, what do you say, like you wouldn't voice me. I wasn't voice.
Oh, away.
Yeah, I wasn't
voice.
voice.
Not voice.
Yeah, and I only became voice in high school, but then I was still like on a lower level to everybody else. So when I came to high school, to university, I met these guys now with cars and money and like it's now
Cheese
the guys
boys. The cheese boys.
No man, it's now the guys that are picking you up, and it's the guys that graduate now and go have a job. And yeah, so when I came to university, this guy approached me and we were together for 4.5 years. It was a very testing relationship, and being the person that I am, to not let go when I see red flags. So that's why I also say I learned nothing from those previous relationships, because I was still falling for the tricks.
You were young.
The party tricks. And I loved the life of having somebody being able to fetch me, and I think that's what got me into the relationship, because I felt like a difference compared to those high school guys. So that relationship carried on for 4.5 years, and I mean, a lot happens in 1 year. Can you imagine what happens in 4.5 years? And I was a student. Because of this relationship, I developed like mental health issues that really like put me down as a person. I dropped out of university. I couldn't be there anymore, yet I still stuck in the relationship. So yeah, and then because I couldn't differentiate whether I was loving this person or if I was feeling sorry for this person. And I loved the fact that I still felt like I was with somebody, because remember I told you now, my whole life I just dreamed of getting married, having a family, and then when this was on offer with this guy, I
held on to it.
Yeah, and eventually we got married. I got married when I turned 21, so everybody has really great memories when they were 21. Me, not so much. To be honest, looking back now, I don't remember a time that I was happy. Also because my life was on social media, I had to keep it up. People were like, oh my god, that's so cute, and then I would thrive with that because it was literally the only like happiness I was getting, and I would feel like, okay, let me keep this up.
That's the downside about social media.
Yeah, it is. And I got married when I was 21, and I got divorced when I was 21. So everything happened in that year. It's a year that I don't want to look back on. Whenever I hear all my friends saying, yo, it's my 21st birthday, remember my 21st birthday, I have the memory of getting married, going through the worlds of shit. Like, I can't even explain what I went through. It's a lot. I'm also not here to bash anybody, to tell anybody else's story. This is just my story. Yeah.
Look,
it was intense. It really was, because I had to keep up a lot for the both of us. I had to be the person. I had to be the marriage, basically.
personally, I think you focus on the bad a lot because you obviously don't have good memories of it. But what stood out for me the most is that you were able to identify the problems. You were able to identify that you put yourself in a situation and social media is doing this and you're striving off the cute messages that people are saying. But what stands out for me is that you took the decision to walk out of that. You know, you walked out of it knowing that you're going to get bashed from family, from social media, the same social media that you were depending on, you know, to feel good.
And nobody knew it. Everybody that was following me, nobody knew the shit that was going on in my life. That's why I say social media, you can live an entire different life, and I can confidently say that because I was. To a point where I would log on to my partner's Instagram account and post a picture of me.
Yo.
Like, that's how lonely I felt.
And it's sad
in
because
the relationship,
people
in the
will
marriage.
think people will think that you're psycho for doing that or whatever, but that's just a cry for help, basically. Like, that's just you trying to show that there's something deeper that's happening, you know what I mean? And people mistake that with you being mentally ill or psychotic or whatever. Yeah, but you guys have a way of reaching out in ways that we guys will never understand. You know, but like I said, that I'm majorly proud of you for walking out of that and becoming who you are today. You became a better person for it, and yes, we are scarred or from past experiences and all that, but for you to turn those things into triumph, you know, it says a lot about your character. And
I do commend myself on many things.
You should.
And I can now, and I can even talk about it now without like crying or anything. But a year ago, I wasn't able to tell my story without feeling like really emotional about it. But when I look back on how I handled it, I feel like I did a really good job of it. Also, a situation like mine, if I was unstable, I probably would have bashed him, and I would have made him feel bad, whereas I just took the stand to remove myself from it and allow him to help himself the way I was now going to help myself. And I think the one thing I'm proud of is that I didn't give up. I only gave up when I saw that it was now really affecting me and it was beyond me, because you can only help somebody to a limit, and the rest needs to come from them. So I love that I know that I'm resilient, and I can kind of come out of my emotions to show up for somebody else. So I know that I have that in me, and I've proven a lot of qualities about myself to myself. So when I do feel emotional these days, it's good to look back and reflect on how far I've come, and I'll be like, okay, but I got through that times, which felt like the worst times. I can get through whatever I'm going through now, because at that time I felt like I couldn't get through it, yet God showed me that I can. Like, so.
Speaking about God, it's a conversation I have with Raisa all the time, that we tend to forget, or we tend not to see that when certain things happen in your life, you think it was because it was a bad choice, or you went into the wrong direction, or, which a lot of times, yes, you can label it as that, but holistically speaking, when I look back at my past and the things I went through, like the toxic girls I was with and my behavior, you know, me getting hurt and all that, you getting married to somebody, you know, that wasn't compatible for you, and it's another story that we're going to talk about, compatibility. You know, that was just a higher power putting you in somebody's path for you to learn something, or for you to get something out of that, you know. Because truth be told, if you did not go through that, you would not know how or who to appreciate, or who to appreciate when something good comes your way. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I only learned that with being with you, because I saw many good things in it, but that what you're saying specifically, that really touched me, because you're right, I probably wouldn't have been able to appreciate what I have if I didn't know what hurt felt like and failure felt like. And yeah. And also, speaking about God, like, it's just common to become more intact with your faith when you're going through something bad, which is wrong.
Oh yes.
But
yes,
it's common
yeah.
to just kneel down and pray to God even more. And with doing that, I also realized that, you know what, if I didn't get married, right, I probably would have still been with that toxic person today. And it took me to get married to that person and to find out who they really are, and to go through things together and to see, okay, this really isn't working. Otherwise, I would have still been a girl that's trying to fix the relationship, and I probably would have still been dating that person, because all I knew was that person. So I didn't know better. I thought that was what I deserved. I thought that I was made strong enough to deal with it, but actually.
And also a key thing that I would like to highlight is that this is not a video to bash our ex-partners in any type of way. We would also hope, and I speak on behalf of both of us, that we're saying toxic and they did this or that, we're not labeling them as being toxic. You know, the situation was.
So we just to us.
Yes, you together.
Yeah.
So we obviously hope and trust that you also learn something from that in your own way, so that when you do eventually meet somebody else, that you know, you are able to take lessons from your previous relationship, you know, with us, and just turn that into a positive, you know, and teach your partner also that, okay, this is what I did. If maybe you see a resemblance in your now partner, what your ex-partner did, you know, and try to fix things, you know. So in no way are we trying to disrespect anybody or talk bad about anybody.
I don't think I've ever done that, and I have my mom to thank for that, because like I said, it was in the public eye and everybody felt like they had an opinion, and obviously the right story was never put out there. So I would always hear rumors about why I got divorced, and because I felt so hurt by the whole situation, it would be the natural thing to kind of tell the truth and be like, that's not what happened, this is what happened, and like set the story straight. And that's when my mom stopped me and she was like, I shouldn't do that. Firstly, it's nobody's business. Secondly, it was my husband. We did share something, we did share a union, we did share love, we shared secrets about each other. He knew me in ways that nobody else did, and vice versa. And thirdly, if somebody is trying to work on themselves and they keep hearing they were like this and they were like that, it kind of just puts them down. And even though I got hurt in the process, I still wouldn't wish my pain on anybody else, especially him, or I wouldn't want his situation to escalate. And I do want him to find love, even if it's not with me. I don't want it to be with me.
It can't be with you.
You know, at the time, it was bad me at the time. Even now, like I honestly, I've forgiven for my own peace of mind. And if he were to move on, I would understand that maybe he's good for that person, and he probably learned lots from our situation, and that's all that matters right now, actually.
I think that's also key, like for making a decision in the future, you know, like it's key to see and find out if you are compatible with the person. You know, sometimes we just we make wrong decisions from the get-go because you're attracted to what you see in front of you. You know, you're not getting to know the person. When you do get to know the person, there's so many red flags, but
you ignore it because you want it so bad.
You want it so bad, yeah.
And you kind of create. You see what you want to see when you want this person.
And then
my dad always says that.
A lot of people make the mistake of then they blame that person for hurting them, whereby the signs were there from the beginning, and you don't mentally grow because you didn't find out what the problem was, which was you chose that, you know. And that is something you can take to your next relationship or the next person that you meet and be like, okay, this is what I need to look out for, this is what I need to be aware of, you know what I mean? And tell yourself that I was wrong, I made a mistake, and I was the one who chose to ignore the signs, you know what I mean? And stop dwelling on what the next person is doing.
The minute you realize the problem and you can work through it, the easier it gets for you.
Exactly.
And absolutely no pressure, because you have to go with the motion. Coming back to the point, a lot of what I brought into this relationship came from what I learned there, and also a lot of the bad that I brought into the relationship came from them. So also straight after my marriage, I jumped into another relationship because
I think that's what most people do, the biggest mistake.
All I knew, before you, I like straight after my marriage, after my marriage, I jumped into a relationship because all I knew was being with somebody, having a person, being in love, and jumped into it. And when this guy and I had our argument, literally our first argument, I realized I made a mistake, and then I needed space, I needed to heal, I needed to recover, I needed to learn, I needed to reflect. I didn't give myself that time, and now I'm there learning a new person. Like, no, because I am a different person. After my divorce, I became a different person, and I needed to learn and unlearn. I needed to unlearn many things, and yeah. So after that relationship, I took some time. I went through my crazy phase, my party phase, which was all needed if I look back now. Because now that I found somebody that I'm really into, I can 100% appreciate this person. I know my shortcomings, I know my flaws, I know my strong points, and I'm also able to, when I see a red flag,
why are you pointing at me?
not a red flag, like when I see something, when I feel something I don't like, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
And we'll squash it immediately, even though it takes a bit of an argument. It helps, and I've grown, and I've also realized that I'm living in the real world, and it's still something I'm learning, that how I picture things is not how it is in the real world. So I'm done creating expectations.
I'm so glad you get that now.
Yeah, and how I want this person to love is not how they actually love, and I can actually appreciate how they love and let something new into my life. And it just feels really great to now be able to wear my heart on my sleeve and not get hurt, or be so confident in my relationship. And all of that came from me getting hurt and me being able to take that and transform it into something good. Another point that I always kept in mind when I was going through that divorce, somebody said something to me which stuck with me forever. Getting divorced sucks, but being divorced doesn't. So I know this is all frowned upon thing about getting divorced, and you shouldn't do it, and it's the devil's biggest wish. But at the same time, if it's not good for you, you need to let go. It will hurt, but it doesn't hurt anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, on my side, the only thing that stands out the most that I brought over to this relationship that was that's good is the fact that, like I said, when I became the toxic one with the insecurities, like I drove my ex insane with being so insecure. Like I did stupid things, like in the end, you know, like going through Instagram, social media and all that, you know. And every time, like, I would dig deep as to who's liking comments, or who's saying something in the comments, whatever, like I would dig deep into that person. Like it became bad. Anyway, long story short, so when I came into this relationship with you, like that was one of the major things that I had to take in mind, that was toxic, and I need to teach myself a way to transform that into something good, you know. And when I think about it now, when I'm looking at you, like I've done that better than what I expected. Because when I take you and my ex, like it's 360. You are somebody that has like over 30,000 followers. You banging. She literally gets dick pics like on a daily from guys.
Can I please stop?
Guys are like on her case, you know what I mean? Like they want her attention, want a number, they always approach her. And the Emmanuel of a few years ago would not have been able to handle that at all. And when I think about it, like it doesn't even affect me, not even one bit. Like I don't even know how to emphasize it. It doesn't even get to me. For one specific reason. It's because, like she's saying the whole time that she wears her heart to the sleeve, she shows her love. She shows me how much she loves me. She shows me that she's for me, and like so open, and like, and that is one of the key things I would give any couple advice on. Like just be open with each other and have that decency, you know, the decency that I lacked with my ex, you know, like have the decency to to respect your relationship, to respect yourself, so that when somebody, like an example, when somebody does reach out, make it known to that person that, bruh, I'm not about that, you know.
And you must remember that it's not my relationship, it's not his relationship, it's our relationship.
Exactly.
So when you do something to taint that, and you're making yourself look like the fool first, and you disrespecting yourself because you're ruining what's yours.
Exactly.
So keep that in mind.
What's the saying? You're biting your nose to spite your face. What? That's the saying. You don't even know
Don't try
what
to
I'm
come
saying.
to English here. Okay, so
Anyway, so yeah, man. I think that's the key thing that I took away from my previous relationship. You know.
there's so many things, but it's difficult to put it all in a video. But I hope what we had to say helped some of you.
Yeah, and
Or if it was just interesting to listen to because you want the tea. Thank you guys for watching. We really hope you enjoy. We want to make this a thing. So we're gonna call it R&I Raw. Okay, let us know if there's anything else you'd like us to talk about, and we'll do so. Thank you.
no, tell them
What?
what they must do.
Oh, please like, share, subscribe, and follow
Boom.
us on Instagram. Bye.
Subscribe. Thanks, guys.